Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Today it's the man child. All right, so we finally got in some new Master Universe, Masterverse. We got into Princess of Power, She-Ra finally. Yeah, she looks beautiful. I really personally like the way she came out. Now I posted some pics already, got a lot of cool comments and responses back. I like the way the face is done. Just yeah, everything comes with a cloth cape, right? The whole deal, shield, spearhead. It looks good to me. It's not exactly the classics because I know people compare that, and I have a classics in card, and you're gonna see the difference more or less. But what more do you want? It's just the face sculpt looks beautiful. It's got the typical aesthetics you're gonna expect with the Revelation line, but it's awesome to have a She-Ra, and I think she come out great. The other thing I heard too is that people didn't like the idea she was in this deluxe card. Why couldn't you put her in a regular like the new Attorney Beastman? I totally agree with that. That's just the way they did it. Maybe if they, and if they did it with a regular card, you would get a plastic. It seems like you probably get a plastic cape instead of a cloth, or I don't know. It is what it is, but yeah, look, she's looking good. Here's a quick look at the back of the box. Check that out, man, on a Swiftwind. Now I do have a classic Swiftwind, and we'll get to check her out, right? See how she works, because that was a big problem with the classics first release She-Ra. She couldn't work on a Swiftwind. Now, again, mine's a card. I don't know, but I've seen from other reviews. I think the bubble power She-Ra, they corrected some of that, but even then, she didn't fit right. The Masterverse is articulated better in the classics, but the classics are detailed better, so it's a trade-off. So we'll check it out. Here's all your new figures at the bottom. You can see that. Bring it in, right? Now, these are kind of trickling out a little bit. Now, Hordak, I also did order. I think he's coming in. Guy had like one left in stock. And these came from Malaysia, by the way. They'll be hitting in a month or so. The stage. Check your targets. Zodak 2 and Catra is being found sporadically, from what I know. And I haven't heard anything with He-Man Skeletor, but they're on their way. But yeah, awesome art. And before we get She-Ra out of the box, there's a quick look at the new bio, right? You want to pause and read that. All right, let's give our new She-Ra a quick look around out of the box. Yeah, she came out. She's incredible. I could not ask for a better She-Ra. Just what I want in the head, the face, aesthetics. Obviously this is how she comes out of the box, right? Short cape and head, and we'll mess around with everything she came with, but came out beautiful. Okay, bringing our She-Ra in for a closer look. Now, one of the most important features we're all curious about, right? Who don't have this in hand, including myself. Now I have her in hand. Is that face and head sculpt? Now look at that. Is that not just beautiful? I mean, that's a She-Ra to me. That's one of the coolest looking head sculpts or version She-Ra in a Masterverse, Motu line I've seen yet. And the classics is really cool. I'll bring in the one in card to compare it soon, but look at that. Bring her in, right? Zoom in. Look at the eyes, the way it's done. Even the skin, just the expression on the mouth. It's kind of open a little bit, but it's not like, a silly grin, or it's not too mean. It's just, this is done so perfect, I think. So aside the face sculpt, now she has an infamous headdress. We all know it's She-Ra. I think it's really cool looking. It's like a gold. It looks like I don't think it's metallic, just a gold color. Has that red jewel piece painted red. Now, it's all part of sculpt, doesn't come off. But her hair, too, check that out. I love the way that's done for a sculpt, I know some people say, oh, maybe she should have, like, the braid, the regular hair and whatnot. But that's, it's not what we're going to get with this type of figure. Maybe you'll have another deluxe one down a version that has embedded hair. But anyway, yeah, it's flexible, It's sculpted pretty cool. I love that color. Dark. It's like a dirty blonde, It's got some pieces coming off here that are flexible, so you can move them around. Yeah, this piece too is pretty soft. And with the articulation with this first head that comes on, so we can go with the hair left to right. Go forward, obviously back because the hair is going to stop it. Yeah, but I think it's a great job. Oh, she also has that neck piece. I don't know if that comes off. Yeah, it looks like that comes off that ring. So, yeah, one of the best head sculpts I've seen yet. So moving down, checking out the rest of our articulation. So she has the, typical, arm aesthetics that the rest of the Revelation women have. A little bulky, but it doesn't look bad. I mean, it's sure, right? But, I mean, excellent articulation. I mean, down, up, forward, back, okay? We could twist it up at the arm there. Now, pinless joints. That's so cool. Where the classics had really big, bulky pins. And now, for a second, that's what I like better. I always love the classics. They're number one to me. It's just the vintage and inspirational nostalgia kind of thing going back to that. But a lot of them, too, are redesigned off the original figures, to be fair. But I love the pinless joints in these, and they do have better articulation. Like, the classics couldn't do this. They couldn't bring the arm all the way in. So you're kind of getting that out of these over the classics. And yeah, this is a, you don't have the classics, this is a great Shira to get your hands on so far. Anyway, but yeah, pinless joints, right? So we already seen that, elbow and go all the way in, we spin, we did that. She has cool, right, the bracers here. Now that's all part, yeah, that's a part of sculpt. I thought sometimes these are glued on. Nope, it's all part of sculpt. So unfortunately, you can't cut that off if you wanted to. At least on that arm. Is the other arm the same? Yeah. And then she comes with two of so on the left side, she has an open, like, handle used for shield, or yeah, I call it a karate chop hand. And then this side, of course, you'll have this soft grip for a sword, semi-open hand. And that's also in a hinge joint. She can go in and out, spin left to right. So checking out her waist and chest area, I mean, that's all nothing. It's all obviously sculpted, tan, and this is just all painted around here up top. Yeah, you know, she's got cool articulation too. It can spin left to right, like so, and then like an ab and forward and back. But, you know, with this jewel piece she has painted on it, Shira kind of has on this dress. You know, obviously when you turn left to right, it's gonna separate this, but it's not bad. I mean, you kind of overlook it. I don't mind it. Got the cool jewel paint in there. It's all gold. Everything is one part. Everything's sculpted, by the way. So there's nothing. I don't see anything different. I mean, aside these two pieces that separate. Okay, the upper part, that's just there's nothing glued on. The dress is soft. You can see that it's flexible. Move around now. So she has that up there, and I don't know. Okay, she has waist articulation too. See that? She kind of spin left to right, or like so. Moving on to her legs. Now check that out. I got her sheer, all right, full split. So I do cool high kicks. You want the poser with, like, you have to get special figure stands for that, but you could do that. Look at that. Cool front kick, forward and back. And the dress is flexible enough to allow all that. Back. Has that thigh cut. Normally I don't like that in these women. Kind of ruins the aesthetics, but with sheer, because of dress, kind of hides that at certain angles. So it's not bad. Knees bend all the way up, pinless joints, so cool. She's got these, yeah, those cool boots. That can spin too, and you can heat it up, and this can pop off. I can see that. I'm not going to mess with it, but I can see it definitely separates the whole boot itself. And then moving down to the foot and ankle, okay, we could spin. Goes up and down. It's kind of on a rocker. And yeah, really just excellent flexibility and articulation. Really cool. And bring the boots in a little bit. You can kind of see they also have some other painted designs in here, which is really neat. They didn't have to do that. It could just been gold, so I'm liking that. I don't know. Oh, and check out the bracers have it too. I didn't notice that, but yeah, good job. Everything was cool. Now, what else? Okay, so the cape. She comes with this short cape, and that you can see that neck piece. We'll change it out soon, but it's got the short version. There's no wire in it, nothing, but it's a really cool material. You know, you can move it around, and yeah, I like the color of it. So let's see how the head pops off, right? Because you never know, QC issues. Oh, nice, just like that. See how easy that was? And I'm going to take a quick look at this. So, okay, so that gold bracelet went around her neck. That's just all part of this cape, and that's how it holds on. So checking out Shira's accessories that she comes with. And of course, she comes with this alternative head. That itself looks really cool. You know, it's just that, yeah, that shield, that face mask that she's infamous for. It's all gold, but again, you have like this extra detail in there with these white fan-like pieces painted. So the eyes are white. Then the mouth is closing out. And just see like red lips. So that's, you know, different. Instead of an open mouth with teeth showing. And the first head got the jewel painted on. Yeah, hair's pretty cool. Now I think I'm gonna bring in the other head for a minute. Now we have it off. I think. All right. So the bolt, it looks to me is the same exact hair sculpt and everything. It's just where this one. Okay, so we have a different sculpt, obviously, in the lips, and of course the eyes. Now this piece is, let's see. Does this come off? I mean, why would you? That's why you get two heads. It almost looks like you could pop it off, but I'll tell you what, even if there's anything under it, it's probably pegs or recess in the face, so more than likely it doesn't have eyes and stuff like that, if you're curious. But everything else looks the same as far as the hair. But it's cool you get the two different heads, you know? Okay, so I just put the alternative head on the body right now, and I put the short cape with the ring back on the neck. See what that looks like, but, you know, you want to check her out. Look at that look. Yeah, that looks really cool. Okay, and here's articulation. Now, it's a little bit tighter with these heads. You see that a lot with alternative heads, but left to right. Let's see. Okay, we can go look down and back in because of hair, but I like that look. That's really, like, tough for Shira. And moving on with accessories, so we also get another type of shoulder neck armor with the longer cape. So that's pretty cool. It's going to slip right over the neck, and you got the same material. Again, no wire, nothing like that, but pretty cool job on that, all gold. And like I said, the same material as a short cape. So this piece will just slide right over the neck like so, and it slips, it kind of pushes down. It locks on pretty good too. It's not sloppy. So without a head, it's kind of what it looks like with the cape and that new armored shoulder piece. Okay, and here's a quick look around with the Shearer. Now we put the first head on, obviously, and with that longer cape. So if you want to check out, see what that looks like. And here's a quick look with the, we'll call it the battle ready head, right? The masked head and the with the long cape looks like in that shoulder armored. That's real. That's just such a cool, unique look for Shearer. You know, if you really want a souped up battle ready version of her, it's just one of the coolest I've seen yet. I just want to bring a closer look. You know, if you want to just see everything, I know I'm trying to do things in and out of the video, but you want to see all the paint and details from the front, right? The armored, okay, this is the dress, and then without everything in the back, this is the detail. You can see that, like the belt, again, it's all sculpted on, how it's cut in the back, and where it's up the shoulders, how it's painted in. So moving on with Shearer's other accessories, of course, we got our power sword. Now, I like the design of this power sword. You know, it looks really cool. Another thing, too, is mine has some chip, it looks like scratches and, I don't know, call QC issues, or paint chips. But it seems to me is that, now the jewel's not painted, but I want to bring in a light and show you something. So you can see with the light, check that out. It's translucent, the whole jewel and everything, but it's actually the whole sword is. So it's telling me that the whole sword is actually a translucent blue and it's painted silver. I thought it was just painted silver and that was a, I don't know, a separate piece or something in there, but that's not the case, and that's why the silver's chipping off and you're seeing blue. I thought maybe it was a wash in there, but yeah, anyway, that's her sword. And I also want to bring a comparison in against the sword. So this is a spare sword from the Master Universe Classic Shearer. So if you're curious with that and the size, I mean, this sword is really cool. It's a lot bigger. It's got its own unique design. It's longer, you know, because I heard a comment about something with the classics or something like that, and I actually had one out of one of the, came one of the accessory sets where it had spare weapons and a spare Shearer sword or something like that. But if you're curious, those two look together, there you go. And next up, we get this cool Filmation-inspired shield that we've seen Shearer have, or in the comic books and whatnot. Now, it's the same deal like the sword. See, it's painted silver, but everything is translucent on it. See that? So the jewel, which is cool, but it's blue, yeah, translucent material and painted silver, sprayed silver or something. And this is your back. Got all the typical hand grips that your hand will go through, and an open hand and hold it here. And this also comes with two spare hands. We got a completely closed punching fist for the right side, and then another gripping hand for the left. And if you're not familiar, you want to see how the pegs pop out with this new Shearer. Okay, right? Goes right out, and we'll put the closed hand in. See how that goes in? Pop right in. Right? Excellent articulation, same deal, in and out, spin left to right. So let's get a little battle ready, right? And I put the open hand back on for the shield, and it will kind of, it looks like it just goes right through here, and that's how she would hold the shield. And then with this hand, we'll put the sword on that side, like so. So let's get one more look around. Our Shearer all done up. We got the battle ready head on with the mask, right? Our shield and sword in hand, and of course the shoulder armor with the long cape. And here's a quick look, if you like her, with her more Filmation-inspired look, right? Which, again, was the head with no mask, or just seeing her face as it is, the short cape, of course, the shield and sword. And, for fun, I also have a Master Universe Classics cowl, which would have been cool if she came with that, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And here's a quick look with the Motu Classic Shearer sword in hand. You want to check that out if you had one, or just curious what it looks like. So to try to show a little comparisons, I do have my Classics. Now, a lot of my stuff's in card, you know. I mean, this isn't the best example, but it's one of those things, you have the Classics or you don't, you know, and trying to get one of these is just really expensive now, unfortunately. But here's a quick look at them side by side now. I mean, again, she's beautiful, and she really holds up against the Classics. The Classics does have some more detail. Now it has gold weapon, you know, this one had a gold sword shield, came with the comb. Another thing, and they made it into an axe, that would have been a cool accessory for this big box that she should have come with, along with maybe cowl. Would have been cool in a boomerang. That's what this figure needed. But we'll get into that towards the end of the video. She also had a headdress there and had a spare head in the bottom. But you kind of see the eyes, just the overall look. But the dress is, you know, it's just not too much different in the Classics against this one with the dress. This one has better articulation. Head sculpt's just as nice. This is a little different from this one. But, I mean, again, you don't have the Classics. You really can't beat this. Aside, the only accessory you're missing is that comb. So here's even a better side-by-side comparison. Now, this Shearer on this side, this was the Super 7 Club Grayskull Shearer. That it was basically, it was supposed to look like she came right out of a cartoon. Looks pretty good to me. Some people had issues with the head sculpt. I don't know, but you can see the shield, the sword, her overall look, okay? See, now she has a rubber cape in the back, and that's how her hair's done, but it's supposed to be directly out of the cartoon, pure Filmation. This figure is, what I like with this one, if you really look at it, it's almost a combination of Filmation, Classics, and the Masterverse, its own thing. Okay, or other inspiration maybe out of art or comics or whatnot, but you're really getting a lot of cool things with this Shira. But if you're curious, those two, like, now I'm going to bring them in for a closer look. And here's a closer look at the two different heads and stuff like that. You know, you can just see the face in this one and how this one's done. I mean, yeah, I really like this face sculpt and head. It's just, it looks so real. And here's another important piece that Club Grayskull Shira came with, was her boomerang that, again, I believe in the cartoon term, you know, from the shield back to a boomerang, I think. Had the jewel, but there was nothing translucent in it. It was painted. I'm really surprised that Shira, yeah, she should have came with something like this. I think that's an important piece, but this is the only, and even the classics don't come with that. And again, the classics went with the comb and everything is basically trying to mimic more what the action figure had. Aside, instead of the rooty hair, the plastic hair, you got the comb. You know, as the kids, you remember the figure. It's trying to do something like that, but of course, modernize it. Yeah, but really, I wish we had this piece. But anyway, there's a boomerang. So moving on with some other comparisons, right? We have our Shira set up next to our Teal 2.0 that came in our Masterverse Wave 4. Check out what they look like together. Now this is Hordak this is also the Super 7 Club Grayskull Hordak. Now I do have Hordak coming. He should be here within a few days. That is part of the new Masterverse line, so that'll be cool. But this is the closest thing we have because he's very Filmation inspired, and so is she. So it's kind of those two together. And here's our Shira next to our first release, Revelation Skeletor, which I like this figure. I like how this come out. It's really unique. But it's those two together. So next up for comparison, of course, we got to bring in some He-Man figures, or Shira's brother. So this was the first release Revelation Buck and Body, came with Sword and Shield. Now you can see this was a custom vintage inspired head that came from a seller on eBay that was making them. I've showed this a couple of my videos. I've given a link out before. It takes a couple weeks to make one, I think, if you contact a seller. It's like 35 bucks, more or less, if you're in the US. It's kind of pricey, but I think it's one of the coolest heads I've seen on this He-Man. Anyway, that's those two together. Next up, we got our Shira next to the good old classics, first release He-Man. I mean, we all love the classics, and one of the best He-Man aesthetics ever made. It's just, you know, it's what we love. But yeah, the Revelations too, and the Masterverse line it's doing its own thing, and I'm liking it. You know, it's a lot more affordable, easier to get than classics. Unfortunately, if you don't have them, I got a 2000X power, you know, the power sword in his hand. But you want to see what those two look like together? And for one more He-Man comparison, we have our new 40th anniversary He-Man that was part of the San Diego Comic-Con 2-pack. Now, he did come with Skeletor, which will bring him in next. Now, this figure is going to be released, I think, around maybe next month in a single card. You're pretty much getting the same thing, but instead of metal weapons, you're getting plastic. And he has a clock, you know, loincloth and boots. You're not going to get that. Big deal. I did a whole review. You can go check it out. But these two look really good together. And I like this He-Man personally because it was very vintage-inspired. Which, again, the Shira, to me, is a very mix, like I said, the vintage Filmations, kind of a mix of different things. A lot of people were really mixed on his He-Man from the comments. It was everything from didn't like the chest, didn't like this, didn't like that. You know, to each his own. I like him a lot. I think he's cool. I think this is the aesthetics we needed for the Revelation line. But either way, they go great together. And while I got him out, I'll also throw the 40th anniversary new Skeletor in against Shira. Let's check those two out together. So another thing I wanted to bring up too is, you know, as far as articulation, raising the power sword and calling upon the power, like when she was a door, obviously she's Shira now. Can it work? Now she could put the, you know, the arm all the way up, the hand sort of does, go in a position you want, you could raise the sword. You can kind of look at it, you can see her hair hinders, like her head looking up at the sword, like I think she did in the cartoon. But it's best I can really get her for now. You can fiddle around with it, but curious what that looks like or how that works on the Shira. It's what I found. And finally, for the grand finale, yes, I have a classic Swiftwind, and this is what the new Masterverse Shira looks like next to him. So she looks great. So check that out, right? Move it around, kind of give you a better. He's pretty big to get in the picture. Now, here's the other last question I'll get in the comments. How does she fit on Swiftwind, as I said in the beginning of the video? Well, let's check it out. And check that out. She fits and looks really good on a classic Swiftwind. Cape, just the way she sits in there. You have room to move around. You can even adjust her a little more, but perfect. To where I believe the classics, they had some issues. Didn't work right. And I just wanted to demonstrate real quick. So I do have a classics Talon Fighter Tila. Has the same aesthetics as what the Shira has. Mine's obviously in card, but see? The gap, she doesn't fit right. Rolls all over the place. Really sits up high in the saddle. Does not look right whatsoever. Even if you twist the legs out to where the Revelation She-Ra, night and day. And of course, I threw on her battle ready head and the neck piece with the cape on while she's sitting on Swiftwind, so we could check that out. Look at how the cape sits back, really cool. It's balances well, whole unique look. So hopefully I covered everything well with She-Ra in this video. If you have any suggestions or thoughts, leave them in the comments. Overall, I think she's great, and I couldn't be happier to have her. I like everything the way it came out with her. Just the look, as I said in the video before, the weapons. Yeah, that big box, a lot of people don't like the idea of that. She came in that oversized box, including myself. Would have been cool if she came with a cowl, the comb, the boomerang. But that's not what we got. And I just think that, Mattel's just trying to get a little more money and simplify things without putting more accessories in because of inflation, the cost of factory shipping. And they got investors too. And I think you're going to start seeing this trend with certain Masterverse figures. Some big box sets will be loaded, other ones will lack. And She-Ra is one of those figures you can get away with it. Because it's a really popular character, and when you see her in retail sooner or later with the right price, or maybe you wait till she's on sale, you're going to pick her up. Where the new Eternia Beastman was just loaded and packed with stuff. So I think that's something you're going to start seeing hit or miss with certain characters. But, she should start hitting retail next month or two. Check your targets. I think when you see her and you get her up front close, you're going to love her. You're going to pick her up and be really happy with her and overlook the little extra money, or just wait till she goes on sale, for the lack of accessories. Maybe down the road we'll get an ultimate version, a different version with, who knows, rooted hair, more stuff. Now you got the sculpt, the potential's there. That's what I think. But I think she's great, and, it is what it is. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope that answered all your questions. And until next time, take care.